there are, I think, 20 odd operators with more than 3,000 Airbnbs and short-term rental stays in Gold Coast alone. So how do you stand out?
Yeah, those figures are wild. 20 operators, and between them all, 3,000 just in the Gold Coast
Even
alone.
more. There is one operator with 1,200 units just in Gold Coast.
Oh my word. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Behind the BNB. I am so happy to have Ankita on the show today. I've been really looking forward to this interview. So Ankita, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Steph. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
I'm so glad I could finally get you on. You're a very busy lady, and
Mhm.
I really appreciate you coming on and, being able to share your story, your background, and what it is you do, and then how you come into the Airbnb space. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can share your story.
Sounds perfect. So my background, I came to Australia with Sandeep, my partner, 10 years ago, and we landed in the beautiful city of Brisbane and started off a new life here, literally from scratch. We're both working professionals, really busy. So we have a 9 to 5, and we really actually like our jobs, like our corporate environment.
Mm.
But over the last year, we started on this journey of, what does the next 10 years look like for us? Where do we want to end up being? Financial freedom was definitely one of our big goals.
Mm.
And we started charting that journey of, how do we achieve that? What's our magic number? What are the ways that we can get into that? And started educating ourselves. So went on and did a few mentorship courses, understood, there was a big shift of working on our mindset. I think that was the
That's a big one.
catalyst to
Yeah.
then put us into this path.
Mm.
And then along the way, we started our journey of investments and looking at different kinds of investments, shares, property. And we really found it interesting, the entire data analysis side of things. My background is IT, and I love crunching numbers and
Mm.
platforms and new tech. So I love exploring all the fun side of technology and how it's evolving at a lightning speed. So
Mm.
it gave me that outlet outside of my work to really explore some of my instincts, creative instincts. And we started our journey as property investors. And through that journey, we realized there's a big gap in the market in terms of there's only one thing right now available to investors, which is the long stay proposition. But then there's so much money to be made in short stays, and this became quite predominant. As you would be aware, there are these houses in different parts of the country which are, rented by room. And it's and we wanted to do that with one of our investments, but we found it very difficult. None of the
Mm.
property managers wanted to take that on board. We did a bit of research, too busy with our life. We said, okay, chuck it, we'll just go at a decreased rental yield and just have a long-term tenant. And maybe next year we'll think about it when we have more free time. So this idea was always brewing at the back of our
Mm.
mind. And I think Sandy had already done a lot of research before, and he actually planted the seed of Airbnb arbitrage. And he knew people or about people in USA who were doing 100 Airbnbs, 200
Mm.
Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Sounded all foreign to me. And then end of last year, we were on this journey of we want to do a business. And we had this entire list of the perfect kind of business that we want to do. It had to be scalable. It had to have verticals that can be expanded out into. It needed to be tech driven, ability for us to do it remotely. And, we wanted something which also keeps our interest in the property going.
Mm.
So then came James Murphy on my feed, and I started following him. And it was just like magic. I think I attracted him into my universe. And I think I enrolled in the course within a week of, just listening to his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And that was Jan this year. And then the long weekend, 26th of Jan, finished his course in 4 days. And
Oh my
then,
gosh. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you know the rest, but I can go into it a bit more,
Yeah.
maybe in your next segment. But yeah, that's how we started our journey.
Wow. Okay. There was a lot in that. So I'm interested to know what. So you shared a little bit about your background is in IT, and you love crunching numbers, which lends very well to trying to build that property portfolio. What is it that Sandy does?
Sandy is a sales consultant, and
Okay,
it's actually the perfect mix for us because
wow, what a
I
great
would
team.
do the numbers
Yep.
and give him the list of properties to go out and reach out, and he'll go and meet the managers and the agents, and it worked perfectly well.
Yeah. And you guys have hit the ground running because it's like you said, you only came into the course in January this year, and you finished it what in the same month over the long weekend. You
Yeah.
finish is was that the startup course
It was actually the
advanced?
the RRR course that we
Yes.
did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's impressive. You guys, did you do that together? You finished that together, or did
No,
you
I did it.
you did it first, and then you felt like
Yeah.
you were armed with what you needed to go out and get your first property?
Yeah, so how it works is I do the learning and then I
Mhm.
consolidate the learning and share it with Sandy, and then I give him specific things to just listen to because he wouldn't go through that entire module. So I
Yeah.
finished it up quite early, and then I gave him bits to learn and listen into,
Mhm.
and then I created a plan on a page, and that's again a skill set that I have as a
Mhm.
corporate leader. I created a plan on a page and found the shortest path to the first apartment getting launched, and then just
Yeah.
ticked off those goals.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks in, we launched our first unit in Gold Coast.
And James said to me, he thinks that that's got to be a record. I don't think he knows anyone else who has launched a unit that quickly, like after, doing the course, understanding what it is, making a plan, setting out, and within 3 weeks, you got your first unit
Gold Coast in
in the
Surface
Gold Coast,
Paradise.
in Surface
Yeah.
Paradise. Yeah. So we're going to put pictures up of that because this is incredible. Like within 3 weeks. So I know a lot of people will be like, hold on, go back because you said the shortest path, the shortest way to do this. So are you willing to share your secret?
Oh, yeah,
How did you do that?
absolutely.
How did you do that so soon?
I think it was the MVP approach, right? Like the minimal viable product.
Yeah.
And what we set out to do was what are the key things that we will definitely need to get this rolling? And we needed a website, we needed a brand, we needed a logo, we needed to get our pamphlets ready, what our proposition is,
Mm.
understand the business side of things. So we took the first week to set up all of those artifacts and get it ready. It took us 2 days to create a website, used AI to do it, did
Yeah.
everything ourselves. Even logo was done by AI.
Yeah. It's
And
AI for
we,
you these days, which is a whole nother podcast. But anyway, carry on.
yes,
Yeah.
then started doing our research for hot spots
Mm.
and, the areas that we want to invest in. And we already knew that Gold Coast will be one of the best markets in Australia, and that did eventuate. So that's where we started looking at more, deeply. And then the next week we started focusing on, going to open homes, going to these, advertised properties which are on rent,
Mm.
and and that's how we started our journey. That
Yeah.
was week 2.
Wow. And so it was in that third week of you going out and viewing properties that you secured. Well, you've got two, right?
Yeah,
In
so
the
we
Gold
have
Coast.
three actually,
Oh, you have
but
three. Okay.
yeah,
And they're all in the Gold Coast.
they're all in surfers. Yes.
But you secured, was it one or two in that third week?
No, we secured the first one. So we
Yeah.
launched the first one
Yeah.
in end of February, early
Yeah.
March. And um, so we went ahead, we started doing the open homes and got rejected by almost every other agent, but
As
we
you
still
do.
kept
Yep.
going. Yeah. And
It's
just,
all part of it. Yeah.
I completely agree. And I tell it, anybody who's starting out, just don't be, it's the, quickest way to a no. So just keep going and
Mm.
building that portfolio and meeting people and going to these inspections, and somebody will call you back, and that's exactly what happened. So the agent had refused us that they don't like short stay rentals, but eventually we said we still put up an application, kept following up with them, send them emails, and eventually they came back to us and said okay, they will progress our application. I think we did stand out in the other applications that came through. Both
Mm,
of us had jobs, we had a good history,
yeah.
and even a rental history back in the day. So I think those factors worked in our favor.
Mm,
And we got the first yes, started setting up that property as soon as we got the keys. And within 3 days, we were able to, open it up for bookings. And that's
wow.
how it.
Okay. So was it furnished or did you have to do all that as well?
Oh, that was another secret for us. So we decided
Yeah.
that we'll go with a fully furnished property, or
Okay.
at least semi-furnished, so that we don't have to wait to get all the furniture
The quicker
set
way to
up.
get set up, that's for sure. Yeah.
And yeah, it was a furnished property, but we still made our own changes,
Mm,
in terms of designing and small furniture. Like the hallway table needed to be changed and a few
yeah.
things that we wanted to, update. So
Mm,
that's what we did.
great job, honestly. And okay, so your approach has been you didn't set up a company, did you? You haven't done that.
No, we already had a company,
Oh,
so
you've
we
already had
reused our existing. So we saved some time in the setup. So we reused our
one.
existing company,
Oh, that was
and yeah,
handy because that can take a little bit of time. Was it usually like a week or two, or maybe not even that
yeah,
long?
it takes about 5 working days if you are
Yeah,
prompt with your responses and a good CA to set up a company.
that's brilliant. That's great. And so then, how soon after the first one was launched did you get a booking?
Oh, as soon, I think Monday morning we put it up on Airbnb, and that afternoon somebody was checking in. So within hours, Steph, not even days.
Wow. And what was the reaction? If we can live in the moment with you when that first
Oh,
booking came in, what was that like for you guys?
it was like shit, oh gosh, this is happening. Like,
This
okay,
is actually
has everything
happening.
been,
Yeah.
yeah, has everything been set up properly? Like,
Yeah.
is the guest going to be happy? But the guests were really happy, and that gave us a bit of, a boost as
Yeah,
well,
of
in
course.
terms of you're on the right path. But
Mm,
yeah, everything turned out to be really good with
that's
that
great.
one.
You never forget your first property or that first booking that comes in, right?
And especially if it's a nice guest. The guest
Yeah.
stayed for a week and they were really, really nice. It was a father-daughter duo and they were really nice.
Yeah, that's a cherry on top because the last thing you want, or I guess you're happy when you reflect on that first booking when it is a nice guest as opposed to the guest from hell, right? So
Yeah.
I'm glad it
Yeah.
worked out that way for you guys. And then how soon after did you get the second one?
So we realized that although we wanted to take it a bit slow and test out the model and then expand, we realized that some of the things that we want to implement, like, platforms, technology, integrations, it makes more sense if we have a bit of a portfolio because it's
Mm,
the scalability and economies of scale. So we decided that we launched two more and we wanted to spread it out, but as luck has it, we got approvals for two properties back to back. So in May, February and we got the first one. March we launched it. Then April we just sort of took a breather, and then in May we launched two more back to back, which was crazy. I will never do that again. It
yeah.
was taxing
Oh
for all
my
of
goodness.
us.
It's just you and Sandy and you've got a little boy as well, right?
Yeah, it's a complete family business, Steph. So
Yeah.
Zane contributed. Zane is
He
our
was
3.5 year old
there.
now, and he was three then, and he contributed. He was at all of, setups
Yeah.
and half bored, half tired, but he had to be with mom and dad as we were setting up. We had
Yeah.
help, but we still had to make the drive and finished our
Mm,
works and went to Gold Coast every night, did the setup whatever we could, and then drove back in. There were still a few things that needed to be managed. One
yeah.
property we were able to get onto the market within 2 days. But the other one, we had a few issues, so that needed to be sorted. So it went live after a week. But anyhow, it was good and done
Yeah.
and dusted.
So were these furnished as well that you managed to get them up and running so soon?
Yes, completely furnished.
Yeah.
We still made changes because some of
Mm,
the furniture was not what we wanted. So we
yeah.
swapped a few things, but that
Yeah.
was easier. Yeah,
Just to give it a little bit of an update and make it obviously more appealing. And the photo shoot. So, like you obviously organized that as well in advance. Found a
absolutely.
photographer. Yep.
So how we worked with the first one, again, I had a project management, hat on, and
Yeah.
we had this all this checklist ready that the photographer, as soon as we got the lease signed, the photographer was booked and he was scheduled to arrive the second day, and that was enough for us to do the setup, the clean, everything. So we had the photos done because you need the pictures to go live on any of these platforms, which is
Mm.
another 24 hours time frame. So we didn't want to waste any time. So the photographer was always booked in advance, even with these two settings. In fact, we had to delay one of the shoots because the apartment was just not ready in
Yeah.
time.
So what actually
But we
happened
were
with that one? Yeah, what were the reasons for the delay in that one? You said there were issues.
uh, our paintings got delayed, Steph, out of
Mm,
everything. So the paintings that we
yeah,
wanted, and they were a very like primary part of our decor
yeah,
because otherwise the apartment was bare walls,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we had to have these wall structures up, and they just got delayed. The printing takes time; it's not
mm,
instantaneous. So it
mm,
took us 2 days to get the prints back, and
yeah.
we couldn't have the pictures done before those.
Oh my word. Well done. My gosh. So the first one launched in March, and then
Yep.
the second and third, did you say May?
Yes.
Yeah.
First week of May. Yeah, back to back.
Okay. And what else have you got in the pipeline, or you're like, okay, wait, we're just going to manage these three, try and get systems and processes set up and things automated, or yeah, what's next on the cards?
I think once the train starts moving,
Mm.
it's just, a big ride.
Mm.
We actually have been getting offers from our existing agents for other properties that they have
Oh, wow. Okay.
within the same
Double
buildings. In
volume.
fact, even similar to what we have, and for us to manage them or take them on board. But we wanted to take it a bit slow for a few
Mm.
months
That's
and
nice.
really understand the processes and the numbers. I would have loved to scale it to 10 in the three
Mm.
months, but Sandy's the sane one, and he's like, let's take a breather. Let's really, see how this goes for the next 6 months and then scale up. But we do plan, like there are two aspects of this business now for us. One is to scale to a large portfolio of properties, and then two is to scale our offerings as well. Right now, we have a good luxury experience for travelers and executives, but
Mm.
there's more to that experience that we can offer. And we have a lot of ideas to build on going beyond just come and stay at a nice apartment, but also things
Absolutely.
that we can tie in with. But
Yeah. So
we need time.
what are those ideas that you're thinking?
Like, there are these extra add-ons, if you have a special, you're celebrating something special, we can arrange for an experience for you, whether it's in the apartment or outside or nearby. Things like, guest baskets for different occasions with different
Yeah.
kinds of items in them, and then surprise packages. Even
Lovely.
going the next level up and building on to that luxury theme that we have. And,
Mm.
actually the ability for them to purchase anything
Mm.
that they see in the apartment. You
Ooh, I
know,
like this. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We had that at one point. It was artworks, it was fragrances. Like this is when it was just scaled up. So
Oh, wow.
I love that. That's brilliant, and sometimes you've made the right decision in, taking a step back, especially after launching three within a couple of months. It's wild, but yeah, it's also very wise to take a step back and just think and consider the full guest experience and what's going to get you those 5-star reviews at the end of the day, because that is the goal.
Absolutely. It's a bit of a like, and that was another part, right? Like it gets a bit crazy that um striving to get all the 5-star ratings. And,
Mm,
I used to get caught up in that quite a lot. Now I'm a bit more relaxed. I'm like, that's fine. Even if we get 1 star less, it's fine. We still get bookings. I think people think it's more genuine if there are like real, we always get 5 stars. I think we have two 4-star ratings, and that too because
wow,
the
that's
Wi-Fi didn't
great.
work.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
and, um, and there was a really bad guest just before
Mm.
this particular guest, and then we were rushing to get things done, like things were stolen from our apartment, so
Oh
we
no.
just couldn't do things that we have to do. But at least they still had really good things to say, like the apartment view is amazing, everything was super clean, but
Yeah.
these small things. So I think it still lends that personal touch that yes, these are like real travelers with real reviews. Like we haven't seen a drop in our bookings,
Since you
and
launched.
I
Wow.
think people become suspicious if it is all five star and 10 on 10. So it's good to
Mm.
have a mix.
Yeah, yeah. It does show that it's a real, yeah, it's obviously a real property, but you have actual guests coming in there. They're not fake reviews or anything like that, you know. And yes, it's the reality of hosting. And like the internet, I remember us having those issues too, and it was just it was be so frustrating. You're like, oh, why can't the Wi-Fi just work? We set it up properly, but these things happen, and it's all about how you deal with it, you know, and the end of the day, and how you can try and resolve it as best you can for the guests in the end. But I'm so sorry to hear things were stolen. Was that recently or a little while ago now?
Oh, we've had issues with some guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people have even stolen cleaning supplies, like Steph,
Wow.
like so
Uh,
it is what it is. It's a part of doing
yeah.
business. And I
Yeah.
think you have your insurances in place, you have
For that
your,
reason.
security processes all tied up. So,
Mm,
you just go beyond and move ahead.
yeah.
Um,
You have to. So yeah, so the process at the moment is yeah, focused on these three properties and making the improvements where you need to. And for those who don't know, what's the name of your business again, so we can get your website up?
It's Mojo Stays.
Mojo
So
Stays.
get your mojo back is our tagline. We
Love
want guests to
that.
come, relax, have fun, enjoy the luxury, the beautiful views. All of our apartments have ocean views. So
Yeah,
enjoy the serenity and then go back relaxed with your mojo intact.
I love that. Where did that name come from? Like who thought of that name for the business?
Me,
Okay,
Steph.
yeah,
But we
and
brainstormed. We were
yes,
actually at a retreat ourselves when we were thinking about names. We were in this beautiful camping area with a stream and a lake and just
that sounds nice.
nature all around us. And that's exactly the feel we want for guests to have when they walk in. So
Mm.
it just came from that.
Yeah, and such a prime location as well, like Gold Coast, tourist hotspot, is it not? And so,
It's amazing. The stats
yeah,
are really good. Like if you look at the number and the data, which is what we looked at, it's like 90% occupancy. The lowest season has 85% occupancy. Like it can't get better than that.
wild, right?
And
Yeah.
average daily rates are really nice. Like when we were comparing, we live in Brisbane and we were comparing the data with Brisbane, it just didn't match up. So we said,
Mm-mm.
okay, it's not too far. And Gold Coast is, it's actually also another decision for us was we did not want something in our neighborhood or in our,
Mm.
somewhere nearby where then we are going every time to fix an issue.
Yeah,
It gives us enough distance for us to set up processes that can be managed without the need for us to go there. And it really then stress tests those, risky situations
I love
for
that
us
you
as
brought
well.
that up. Yeah, yeah, it's so true, and it's what we advise. I'm pretty sure we've even like James is teaching that in the course as well, or the team are is try not to find something that is close to you because you won't be able to help yourself. Like if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes down the road, you're going to now be interacting with a guest, and it's not ideal because we talk about setting this up as a business from the
Yeah,
outset, you know, not a hobby host like these people who go away and then they Airbnb their own place. This is a completely different model, different strategy. You touched on wanting to scale up, but it's about getting everything in place to automate things because you still work full time, so you just don't have time
absolutely.
for that. Yeah,
I
so
think the way James teaches is like set it up as a business, right? Like,
mm,
and that's very important. You need to be working on the business, not in the business. And I think that's a statement which stays with every person in the group, in the community. We don't want to be going and fixing things because
mm,
then the dependency stays on us. As much as we would love to jump on and get into the car, but we then try to brainstorm, hey, we can't do this. What do we need a security person on nearby? Do we need our team to be available to go and sort some things out if need arises at a call out fees? And we've then put those processes as we have learned and grown.
yeah. It's great because it teaches you how to, yeah, not only delegate but automate. And you hit the nail on the head. It's about working on the business and growing it and how you're going to grow it. Whereas if you're in the business constantly day to day, like busy with all these small different, you're just not going to have the headspace to even be able to think how to grow this thing and actually make it something successful and profitable at the end of the day. So you guys are definitely on the right foot, and it's just crazy to me, like how quickly you got that first property. But it's like I was saying, I think I said at the start, James said that's been an absolute record. Like you
I
guys
love
broke the
making records.
record.
I love a challenge, and
Finding
I
it so
love,
soon. Yeah,
yeah, and I love making records.
yeah,
Hey, we did not start with that, but definitely we had bigger goals. Like
yeah,
if we are doing this, then let's do it.
yeah.
And there's test out the approach. Like go with an MVP, don't go for perfection, look for the
Mm,
best
mm,
alternative, and keep progressing. And that's how
mm.
we went ahead.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing what the goals are? Like, what is it by the end of this year, even short term, that you want to achieve with this?
We have big goals. I've shared the crazy ones with James,
Yeah.
but I'll share the less crazy ones here. We do want to scale to 10 units by next 12 months,
Mm,
and if not earlier,
mm,
but yes, definitely in the next 12 months, bring it to a 10 units sort of a structure. But then at the same time, we are looking at two avenues. One is going investor-led and looking at developing our playbook and really expanding to that, you know, three-digit mark, going above 100 units in the next 3 years, 5 years, and looking at investors to join us. The other part that we have is building on our experiences and really creating our USP in the market. Of course, there are,
mm,
I think, 20 odd operators with more than 3,000 Airbnbs and
mm.
short-term rental stays in Gold Coast alone.
Wow.
So, you need to, how do you stand out
Yeah.
in the market? And that's something that we are still brainstorming and working
Mm,
towards.
mm,
Um, and then we'll see along the way. There are heaps of other verticals within this own business. There's this entire market of linen hire, Steph. Like the most boring thing in the world sometimes is the most amazing business opportunity. And
this is very
because
true. Yep.
and we utilize and there's only very few providers, so there's definitely that segment. Then
There's a
cleaning is always, yeah,
yeah.
top of the list, and finding good cleaners and retaining them, but also making it professional in terms of the processes and the service offering. Like
Mm.
those are the things where we bring our expertise in, and these are the avenues that we are also thinking about.
Yeah, that's brilliant. You're seeing the opportunity that's available to you, and that's yeah, those figures are wild. With 20 operators and between them all 3,000 just in the Gold Coast
Even
alone.
more. Yeah, there is one operator with 1,200 units just in Gold Coast.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Wow. Goodness me, there's just so much opportunity out there. I'd be interested to get your take on. I don't know if you've shared this with friends and family or even colleagues, or maybe not colleagues. I don't know, but about what you're doing and what you're building. And have you ever received the comments? Because we tend to get a lot of this. It's, oh, you're destroying the housing market. There's already a rental crisis. Like, what would your response, or what are your thoughts on that in particular, for people who may be watching this and they've got that in the back of their mind as well?
I think it's super weird. So to be honest, if you look at, if there are no investors, then there are no houses to be rented out.
Mm,
So actually investors play a very important role in having investing in areas, making the houses livable and up to the standard.
mm,
Otherwise, we have seen in areas where houses are just forgotten about, and there is a requirement, but nobody has the money to uplift it. Investors come in, they rebuild it, they spend a lot of money to make sure that the housing standards are really up to the mark. And they also create this pool of available rental houses. Like, how is that
mm,
bad? Not
mm.
not everybody can afford. Housing affordability is a very different topic, which has a lot of connotations, but
Yeah,
it has a lot to do with the policies, with the government, with the laws that support. We are facing housing shortage because the tradies, or the construction skilled workforce is not enough. We
yeah.
need more.
Yeah.
And then that sort of ties into your skills development, your immigration. Like it, there's so many
Yeah,
nuances
there's
to
so
it.
many
I'm not
factors.
experienced enough to comment on
Mm,
that, but
mm,
I don't think the hate towards investors is justified because they are buying a property and taking immense loans and believe me, working their ass off to get to pay off those loans and having these houses which are taken care of and taking care of their renters in a way as well. And within within markets like Gold Coast, like it is a predominantly tourist spot. Like people go there for short-term stays. If you don't have options for them to book in, how is that sustainable for any local government? Like
yeah,
Gold Coast is the mo world famous tourist spot. And if you
yeah.
don't have places for the tourists to stay, like how I think we are bridging that gap in the market as
Mm.
well.
Because there's not enough
So
hotels. Let's talk about that also in some of these tourist hotspots. So, and not everyone wants to stay in a hotel or, maybe need a bigger space. They want a full kitchen. So it's as you started saying, you're closing the gap. Yeah.
definitely, we get families with kids. They need a kitchen, they need those services. We get like we had a family stay in one of our bigger apartments. There were three generations who'd come in from New Zealand and they
Mm.
wanted to have this family time together in the same house and being able to make those memories. They were watching a rugby match one of the days. So, on our
Mm.
big TV screen and just having fun in a nice apartment. So those opportunities are not there in a hotel. You're just sitting in different rooms. Where is
Mm.
the family time? So
Yeah.
definitely. And then there are travelers who want that luxury, who want to be taken care of. Yes, definitely. I sometimes also want to go and live in a hotel because I
Yeah.
just want everything taken care of and just
You
want to
like
eat in a
options.
restaurant.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and we're providing options and all the rest of it. But yeah, I appreciate you answering that question because it's something that comes up so often, and I think people don't realize that Airbnb, in terms of percentage and what kind of impact it's actually having on the housing market, is very low. Like when I've done my research and looked at some of the stats on that, because there's been a lot of comments, I guess, that I come across, like even on our social media, not that I sometimes I'm like, I don't even bother reading the comments because we're too busy, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll see the same thing come up over and over again. And I'm like, there are so many contributing factors to this epidemic at the moment, unfortunately. But then people don't see it in terms of the opportunity that it creates for people who may never have had the opportunity to actually get their foot in the door in the property market. And this is one way to actually build up your cash flow, build up that initial deposit, even to get your foot in the door and actually get on the property ladder in the first place and actually purchase assets. I mean, that was definitely the case for us when we started out. We started with not much at all, and it's really given us an opportunity we never could have ever dreamed of, had we not discovered this particular strategy of rental arbitrage. And some people are like, wait, what's rental arbitrage? It's a very American term, but it's basically rent to sublet, rent to rent by the room. Although that model in itself is something completely different. So it is renting to sublet and getting permission from the landlord. And people still find it surprising that landlords would even give you
Yeah.
the chance and the time of day to do that. But
We get that a lot as well.
yeah,
Like we get that, like anybody that we talk to about this model, they're like, "Do you have the landlord's permission?" I'm like,
mhm.
"Hell yes,
Of
of course it's."
course, you can't do
And
this otherwise. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And this is a model which they prefer as well because they're getting a stable income. At the end of the day, they need stability and I'm
mm,
sure they have loans to pay off as well. So they're just looking for somebody to ensure that the house is maintained to a good quality
yeah.
and it's taken care of and while at the same time they get their income. And we take care of all of that. In fact, so funny, Steph. We had this house, and Sandy did the inspection. Everything
Mm.
looked good, and we missed one thing. One of the ensuite bathrooms did not have a door. It was
Oh,
missing a door. So when we went in, when we sort of got the keys in and went in, and that was the first time I was looking at it, we actually got the door installed. It's not a big cost. It costed
mm,
us nothing as compared to the revenue that we'll generate. And from an owner's perspective, we fixed up things. We made the house even better. It's
yeah,
professionally cleaned.
yeah.
multiple times a week. Like it's in better spot than what they had given us. And in
Yeah.
fact, we're going to do even more work before in the next few weeks to bring it even uh, bring it up to our standards now
Yeah.
that we're going into the busy season. And we
Yeah.
have seen the numbers work well for us.
Mm.
So who wouldn't be happy to have their house taken care of?
Yeah, that's right. And this is also the approach for those wondering how you even get that property and get permission in the first place. This is what you're going in with. We're probably giving away a few secrets here.
Yeah.
This is your how you present your offer in terms of getting the permission from the landlord. It's stating the fact that you're happy to commit to a rental period of, what is it for you like that you've actually used to
We've really tried
program.
2 years, but
Mm,
I think Australian landlords are still pretty scared to go into
mm,
longer leases. But we
mm,
have 12-month leases on all of our apartments, but we will
mm.
now negotiate when we go into the next term negotiation. We'll ask for 2 years leases, and we'll put in things like, where we would want to maybe repaint a few things and
Yeah.
redo, get the property,
Uplift.
condition
Yeah.
even better. So
Mm.
I don't think it's going to be an issue, but that's something that we now have to embark on and start those discussions.
Yeah. So when are you actually having those discussions? Is it 6 months into the contract, and they're sort of seeing how things are going, and I guess it's still early days though, isn't it? Has it even been 6 months yet for
No,
it's not.
it's just been 4 or 5 months. But
Yeah,
I'll
it's
start
still early
but
days.
it's on my to-do list. This is
Yeah.
my one action for this month. I have to negotiate with at least the one property that we are very keen on expanding,
Mm,
and
mm.
then see how it goes and put a proposition together.
Yeah, and I hope, yeah, the outcome is hopefully another two years, and yeah, you just got to see how you go. But this is the thing, it's you never know what you're going to get because you just don't know what the plans are for that landlord and what they want to do with the property. But at least you've got that opportunity for 12 months to actually, you're
Yeah.
learning, but you're making a profit. Like you've done your research, your due diligence, you've researched a market that is tourist hotspot, and yeah, the occupancy is unbelievable. I cannot believe it's 85% in winter. Like
Oh yeah.
where else are you gonna get that? I don't even know.
I have not even checked
Another market.
other locations yet, Steph. I
Yeah.
have no idea. I'm so happy with Gold
Why would
Coast.
you? You're just gonna keep expanding over there, aren't you?
That's the idea. We love Gold Coast. Like, for us, that was also a spot where we wanted to, buy a holiday home for us in the future, and
Mm,
we started exploring that area. So definitely, yeah, let's see what
yeah.
happens.
I love that. That's great. And okay, so let's talk about, yeah, maybe some of the challenges. Like, what's been the hardest part of getting this business up and running? That maybe the biggest lesson you've learned.
I think funny enough, it's the guest experience which
Mm,
matters the most, and you get all sorts. Like it's a range, right? Like
mm,
people behavior and psychology. Like I think that's another study that needs to be done. But there would be guests who'll come in and be so happy and grateful. Same setting, same everything. We'll get that pesky guest who doesn't like anything. So it's a
mm,
wide range, and then we've had guests who've stolen stuff or
mm,
broken stuff as well, but you just deal with it, I think, and you move on. For us, for me, the biggest learning experience has been a bit more about self-discovery. Like, what are the things that I like to do in the business, and what do I just don't like to do, and
yeah,
outsource that. So
yeah.
I
Delegate
I
that.
have out, yeah, exactly. So with
Yeah.
sticky situations or pesky guests, then and we have a virtual assistant. They manage those comms, and we can guide them on what to do.
Mm,
I look after the business operations and the data and the numbers side of things, and that's my happy place.
yeah.
Anything to do with getting stuff done on site,
Mm,
that's Sandy's area. So I think we just realized that, hey, this is where we land, and these are the things I just don't want to do,
mm.
and focus on the things that's why we work good as a team as well.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly you guys are working very well together. You play to each other's strengths though, don't you? It's like you're saying, the things that, well, there's things you don't want to do, but then you also know that you're not great at them. So it's like, well, how can you outsource that? You know? So
Or
I'm
think,
interested. Yeah,
or just things that you don't like to do, like,
yeah.
which stresses
You
you
don't have
out.
to. Yeah,
Yeah. So
there's ways.
just find somebody to do it for you,
Great, great advice. I love it. I'm interested to know, yeah, just how you manage things with, you both, like you said, you're both working full time. You've got your son as well. Day to day things are busy enough as they are. So where do you find the time? Because I've had this question asked in my DMs a few times. How does one run or build rather a side hustle business whilst working full time, whilst having children? How are you and Sandy doing it and managing?
I think knowing your true goal, like what is the goal that, led you to this path, it's quite
Mhm.
important. And if
Mm,
you have that every time a difficult situation comes in, just look at that and see that this will just pass,
mm,
and there is light at the end of the tunnel. It does get difficult for us also. There were weeks where it was very, very tight for us, managing like 80-hour weeks in terms of 40 hours of our own office and then 40 hours on the business, and just running
mm,
around and falling
mm.
sick because we were running around so
Mm,
much.
yeah.
But then it's not every time, right? Like there is that busy period and then there is the calm period. And then there are days when you're like, oh, wow, this is so easy, like 2 hours of my weekend and this can be done. But then there are
Mm,
times when you're just into, the thick end of things. So keep your purpose at the forefront, what led you to this path. And as I said, for us, the beginning of this journey was 2 years back, and it was with the mindset shift. So we
yeah.
had to do a lot of work over a lot of months to work on our mindset and, work within ourselves to really understand what do we want to do? What do we like? What are our passions? And it's all of these learnings, like whether it's
Mm,
a job or whether it's an assignment or whether it's a business, it just leads you on a bit of a self-discovery as well. What do you like? What do you do? Like I'm learning new things about myself as well. I
yeah.
thought I like a challenge, but now
Mm.
I know what kind of challenges I prefer, and I would rather focus on those.
Mm, wow. What was it that brought you both to that place of you knew you needed a mindset shift? Does that come up in conversation? If you can share that.
No, it doesn't. I think
Mm,
it's again, that journey also started about 7, 8 years ago. You come across certain books, you read a few books that really make you think and
mm,
change your way of thinking, and then you build upon that over years. And then things happen in your life which then sort of cement that thinking.
mm,
So for me, I like to believe I was a bit of a pessimist before, really jumping to conclusions and, oh, everything is just bad, like, going
mm,
to the negative instantly. If something is going wrong, then just thinking about the worst. And I had to really rewire my brain to start thinking about, hey, it might be fine and this can actually be better. Or don't dread picking up that call. It can actually be good news, but you're just wired to
mm,
think negatively. And again, it's a lot of study around human psychology and
mm.
how we have evolved to think about the negative first. It's the fight or
Fight or flight.
flight,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, mode that you are naturally built to get into, and just
Mm,
fighting that instinct, and then reading about it, following mentors and finding coaches that help you guide that. And it was, I think we realized somewhere down the lane, we realized we need to first change that mindset. Only
yeah.
then things will start happening for us, and it has.
Mm, mm. And yeah, I just admire that it was both of you because sometimes it's just one, like especially in a marriage, in a relationship, in a partnership. It's not always both. It's one growing over here and the other one's being left behind. But the fact that you guys are on a journey together, it just and now in business together as well, and doing what you're doing, like you're all more powerful for it because you've both wanted to grow and evolve, and mindset plays a
Yeah.
huge role in all of this. And I mean, I'm not sure how much of mindset is actually taught in the course, but it's something that James and I are always talking about, and we challenge each other on. And it's like, what are you reading at the moment? And how is that challenging you? And how are you growing? And whilst there's life, there's always room for improvement and growth. And but not everyone thinks this way, you know. So
I think it's a concentrated effort. We were not on the
it
same
is,
page for a very long time. Like it took
yeah.
us, we had to realize that and
Mm,
then also do work to come on the same page.
mm,
For a long time, it was me on my part and Sandy on his part, and that was fine as well, you know.
mm.
But I think we realized that if we are to achieve these goals, which are family goals, I think a lot of the changes happen after having a baby. So yeah, if I
Oh,
have to
for
look back
sure.
now, 3 years back is when we started. And you know, when you have a baby and
Yeah.
then you start thinking about, hey, we need to be aligned a bit more, aligned on what we
Mm,
need. And then you start thinking about your goals as a family unit. And that's when we started coming together
yeah.
and being on this journey together.
Yeah, that's great. What are some recommendations you could give off the top of your head? Books for people who are, maybe listening to this and thinking, yeah, I think I need a mindset shift, like even just to get started in this particular business. I know so many people maybe are held back by fear or just thoughts of, I can't do, there's no way I can do this, I can't do this. What would your encouragement be? Maybe starting off with a couple of books to read. What is it that you've maybe read that's helped you on your journey?
So many, I have a huge list, but I'll give the top three. I
Yeah,
think,
we've already shared
yes,
book
our own
recommendations with
list.
each other. I love this. Yeah.
Yeah. But anybody who's brand new to that mindset shift, I would say go for Think and Grow Rich. Nothing can beat Napoleon
Mm,
Hill. I think
yeah.
everything after that about on mindset, on positive thinking has been built from that book. Like
Mm,
that is the original,
mm,
and the origin of a lot of the thought leaders that we have. So start with that book. The second one I recommend is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
perfect.
I
Yeah.
love that book. That was the light bulb moment in my life 8 years
Yeah.
back. And the third one I would say is The Richest Man in Babylon, another really good
Ooh.
book. Really, really old.
That's one I've
It's
not I've not read yet. I that needs to be, yeah, that's added to the list
I
next.
think it's hardly 100 pages, and it's
Yeah.
like you can finish it in half an hour, 1 hour, and such a good book
Yeah.
and written in, I think, long gone era, but still so much relevant.
Some great recommendations there. So, yeah, if you're not reading at the moment, maybe start off with Think and Grow Rich. That one is an absolute game changer, and it's one of those books. Don't you feel that? Yeah, you'd have to go back and read it. It's also like Rich Dad Poor Dad, like those books that you can go
Yeah.
back to time and time again. And
I think I've read them 10 times or
yeah,
more.
just
Like
pick up
every year I need
something
to
new.
revise.
Yeah, and it's
And
like,
every time you
oh,
come back thinking, oh, I didn't, oh, this is a new thing. Why
yeah,
didn't I think about it? Like every time there's something that clicks.
it's so true. I feel exactly the same. And then yeah, I love listening. I especially love listening to books as well. Is that what are you a hardback like paper book reader or
See,
Audible and listening?
I have a beautiful library. I'm sitting in my library, and
Oh,
I love collecting books.
yeah.
I was the old school hard book reader.
Yeah.
But you have a baby and you're too busy. Now I'm running around doing course. It's so easy. I'm so addicted to Audible. And
Yeah.
I just listen to audiobooks all the way
Yeah.
if I'm driving, if I'm getting ready on my way to office, like
Playing in the
it's
background.
exactly.
Yeah. Or even podcasts. Like, are you into podcasts? Like listening to, yeah.
Yes, I follow a lot of YouTubers and I listen to them again every time. I'm
Mm.
never listening to music anymore, Steph. If you ask me what's the latest song, I have no idea.
Who
All
knows?
I'm listening to is
I don't even know.
podcasts.
I'm like, does the radio? I can't remember the last time I even turned on the radio, and it's just like,
Yeah, my social skills
that's
are
like
going down in that
this
sense.
was when we were high school days, so
Yeah, correct.
long
Same.
gone.
So
Yeah,
all the time I'm just listening to, yeah, books or podcasts.
yeah. If it's not books about finances or growing, in business, It's books about how to be better parents, how to
And yeah,
manage our
exactly.
children's emotions and
There's
mental
always
stability.
something to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. All right. Well, oh my goodness, this has been such an incredible interview. And oh, you've just brought so much insight and wisdom and so much value as well to, I know anyone listening to this is getting so much out of this podcast with you and Keita. So I want to thank you. And actually, in closing, I wanted to ask if you've got any final sort of thoughts for people watching this, who maybe want to get started and haven't yet.
I think just go for it. Like, what's the harm, right? Like, I think people just waste a lot of time in thinking and not
Mm,
doing the doing. Just
mm,
get on with it. Do the actions. You have a checklist. If you're a part of this community and you're doing the course, you already have that roadmap, that project plan, that, step by step, plus such a beautiful community. You can always tap into the expertise of other hosts, and they're so
mm.
willing to help. Go for it. Like if you're halfway through and you're already here, then you're interested. Like
Yeah.
just, win over your fear and take the plunge. You learn something about yourself. You might even end up, really growing something magnificent. And that's the beauty of it. And tap
Mm.
into mentors. Like people really discard the value of mentors in coaching. And I think I am where I am because of all the beautiful people who have helped me in this journey. And
Mm.
sometimes it's just one word or a sentence that they will tell you and it will just set you on a different path, and that's what you needed.
That's
It's
right.
great, so go for it. Find a good coach, find a good mentor, follow them. They've done it, so they can show you the path.
Exactly. That was brilliant. I think that's the best way to end this podcast today. And again, Ankita, thank you so much for that. That was great. I hope you're encouraged. I hope you feel inspired to just go for it. Take the plunge, as Ankita said. And I mean, it's great that you've been watching this podcast as well. That's also a very good start. So, Ankita, thank you again. And you guys are doing so well, and I can't wait to see what else is in front of you guys and what's ahead and how you're going to continue to grow and move forward in building this business. It's very exciting.
Sounds great, Steph. I think we'll be back in 12 months' time and we can redo, the checklist of
Yes,
where did we end up.
that'd
But
be
that gives
great.
me motivation to keep ticking off my goals.
Yeah.
So good to be on your show. I listen to you and it's inspiring to see other hosts and similar challenges. So lots to learn. Keep doing
Mm,
this. Keep doing
mm.
this for us.
I
And
love
thank you for
this.
having
Of
me.
course I will. Yeah, it's been such a privilege. All right, guys, thank you again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And yeah, share this episode with, anyone who you're thinking may be interested in this as well. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.